Okay, so he's a quick service restaurant owner. He just installed some digital menu boards, and he's really excited to see what kind of opportunities come of these new menu boards. Problem is, he has no idea how these menu boards are actually changing his customers' behaviors. Now you might say, Dave, you've got some sales data. Any changes in the sales must be because of the digital menu board. But we know that's not the case. We can't make that leap. We can't assume that that's the case. We need to know, and we need to be able to measure how people are changing their behaviors with the menu board and how that's affecting sales. So this is where Retail Senses comes in. Optimizing digital menu boards using automated in-store eye tracking. Abacus Data has teamed up with Design Interactive to design a unique technology that's able to accurately measure gaze across multiple screens from a distance of up to 10 feet away without changing or interrupting the purchase experience. We do this without collecting any private information about the customers as well. So we have a problem, we have a technology, what's the solution? So like I said, Retail Senses is all about optimizing the digital menu board to catch customer attention, to make it easier to order, and to put emphasis on specific items. So you can imagine you're a customer, you're walking into a coffee shop, you want to buy a coffee. Does the digital menu board catch your attention? Is it easy for you to find the coffee that you're looking for? And does it help you find an item that you didn't initially know you wanted, but then you go ahead and order? So we have a solution now, but how does it actually work? So in Dave's case, he has a digital display. He has a third-party terminal that feeds some images to that display. He probably has a Wi-Fi router set up or a direct connection set up to the internet so he can control that media. And this is where Retail Senses comes in. We install an eye tracking device underneath the display with a mini computer that hides behind the display or discreetly somewhere else. We install a video overlay unit, so we're not interrupting any of the existing images, but we're just seeing what's going onto the screen. And then all of this communicates with the Retail Senses cloud server. So you might say, okay, that's great if you have one display, but most people don't have one display. You might have 2 displays, you might have 3 displays. So this is scalable up to multiple displays, multiple stores, because all of the data is fed to a cloud server where it's then analyzed and interpreted and all of the digital and visual outputs are produced. So we had a problem, we had some tech, a solution, you know how it works. What's next for Retail Senses? We need some new funding to be able to work on our product. This is just a concept at this stage. We've been developing it for about 3 months now. We've been talking to a few retailers, but we do need additional funding to be able to really make this thing work. We need to do an in-store pilot. We've tested it in our office, but it's completely different having 10 people walk up to this thing versus 10,000 people walk up to this thing. We want to continue to build this into an enterprise solution, not just something that works in 1 or 2 or 3 restaurants, but like I said, in 100, 200, 300 restaurants. And of course, we want to get this in stores, because I know as soon as a restaurant owner sees this and sees how this can help them improve their sales, improve the customer experience, they'll want it in all of their stores. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Scott. Over to our judges. Who's first up? Ladies first.
So ideally, how do you see the information gathered being utilized by a store? I mean, what are they going to do with it?
So they can take the data that's collected and they can tell whether or not people are looking at specific items, how long they're looking at those items, where on the menu board they're looking, if they're even looking at the menu board. So one of the problems that retailers are running into is people come into the store, know they want to buy a coffee, and that's all they order. They don't even look at the menu board. They know how much their regular coffee is. So we can help them optimize the menu board to catch attention. Because we can say, your menu board's not currently catching attention. Let's do an A/B test and try something else. That's one of the ways that they can use the data.
Okay. Any other ways? Just cross-selling? I mean, anything else?
Yeah, if they wanted to do cross-selling or through an A/B test, you could see whether or not a certain product is going to sell better if you show it as an animated image or a smaller image. But it's really all about optimizing just the menu board specifically. Yeah.
Okay, quick question. With this information, who becomes the merchandiser? And what if they don't have digital signage in their store already?
So digital signage is a requirement. We can't use static signage, so they would have to install digital signage in order for it to work. The merchandiser, still we would assume in an enterprise solution, would be the merchandising team. We're just providing the data as a research service. If it's a smaller restaurant, we could always come in and provide additional consultation as well.
Okay. Do you see this as a permanent installation at stores?
Right now, the way that it's set up, it's just an ad hoc setup, so not a monthly subscription service. But what we would like to do is we'd like to develop it into a solution that can be a permanent installation. Because menu boards aren't static anymore, especially digital menu boards, and we know that these things change all the time. There's new products, there's new promotions that they need to focus on, and so they need those insights and those data and that data on a regular basis.
Okay, so from the sounds of it, you'd be looking to approach franchises to get sell it as a part of buying a franchise, and the cost would be borne by the franchisee.
It depends on the franchise setup. Some franchisees do have to spend the money to upgrade to the digital menu boards, but in Canada at least, most of the franchises, they don't have to pay out of their pocket for the upgraded signage.
So if that's the case, it'll most probably be a media company who will be partnering with the franchisor to run this, and then you'd be selling or leasing on their behalf, for that company.
Yeah, I mean, that could be one way to do it. We've been approaching research teams directly and working with them and their merchandising teams, but there are different avenues that could be approached.
So the cost per installation would be what then, if that's the case?
The hardware is about $1,500. The software, it depends again on how big we can get this to be. Software development is costly. We don't have a specific idea of what we want to charge yet because it's so new and so different. The only comparable thing right now is online shelf tests, and for those, you're spending $10, $20, $30,000 depending on what you're testing and how complicated it is.
Actually, the pricing was my question.
Sure.
So you've been talking to customers, prospective customers?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So what is your sense that they're willing to pay?
The big thing in Canada right now is that it's sort of seen as a space-age technology. They don't really see how it can play out and how it can be used. They understand the usefulness of it, but it's so far beyond. I mean, I don't know what it's like with your customers, but online focus groups are still a new thing. So trying to push them into digital eye tracking that's automated in-store is sort of a big leap and is taking it's requiring a few conversations. Yeah.
Last question.
What's the output look like? Are you talking heat mapping, stuff like that, crossed against transactional data or what?
Yeah, so we can produce heat maps. We can also produce trail maps to understand where they looked first, second, third. But one of the biggest and most important things that we produce is the full body data set, so that we can take sales data and compare that to each individual transaction, because they're time-stamped. So if someone's walking up to the register, places their order, we know at what time they look at the screen, and we also know what they ordered.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.